You heading out? All right. So you can see the spin on the storm. You can see that. There's just spin there. There's a couple other little spins embedded within all this, but that's the one the Weather Service is the most interested in there, which that's going to go southeast of Archer City right towards Windthorst. But any of those storms could potentially spin something up.
Is cold pool not going to kill it?
No, the cold pool has already then passed it. So, but the storm scale interaction is what's creating a lot of this. So I would just head down towards maybe, I don't know, Windthorst and just kind of go from there. All right, sorry, I was coordinating with Cameron just right now. So he is, I was telling him where to go. He's in the tracker, about to go out and take a look at these storms here to see what they're doing here. Of course, here in Wichita Falls, we haven't gotten much yet. These, it still looks like the bulk of the activity is going to miss Wichita Falls, at least for now. There's a couple storms that have kind of developed on the backside of all of this activity with new warnings that's been issued here. So we'll keep an eye on that. New warnings now are for Electra and Iowa Park. This is a storm that has kind of split off of the main area storms and kind of lifting. That's what I'm talking about. You have erratic storm motions this afternoon. This is a bit of a left split, and it's moving to the northeast. This is a hail-producing storm moving over Iowa Park and Electra. So far, the hailstones are probably only dime size, maybe up to nickel size, but they could get larger as they try to make their way east-northeast up towards Burt Burnett. There's also a new storm that's developed over southeastern parts of Wilbarger and Wichita County, just west of Cadane Corner on the north side of Lake Diversion. That storm too has hail, and these are the two strongest storms I'm watching. Are these down into Archer County here? So I'm trying to sign into my my tower cam here, but I'm not having much luck with that. So I'm going to be doing some work here at the same time that I'm doing this live. So if you hear me kind of get quiet for a second, that's what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to maneuver. I'm trying to do a couple things many things at one time here. So that's what you're going to notice here with me. But again, we got warnings out for just about all of Archer County now. This includes Archer City and includes the strongest part of this storm is south of Holiday. You know, it's just it looks to me like it's going to stay south of Holiday. There are some showers moving through parts of southwestern Wichita Falls, Lakeside City, and Holiday too, maybe some downpours, but by far the worst part of it is staying south of Lakeside, south of Holiday. And that main cluster of storms you see in Archer County there is moving more off to the southeast than it is moving to the east here and northeast. Then you got the storms that are north of that are like I say, give me a second here. I'm trying to get signed into my sky cam here, my Wichita Falls sky cam. I believe I got it though. I wasn't able to get it. So let me text my my engineer. Give me a second. All right, so anyway, I am, and there's our storm we're tracking there. This is a cluster of and they're moving so slow, they're going to be producing some flooding rains too. You can also see some other storms that develop back here in Ford County. These are well southeast of Kroll, but here comes your little outflow boundary. This is a little boundary of some moving air that was produced by storms earlier in the day, and as that crosses it, it's going to help give it a bit of an uptick. It's going to help push the clouds up higher, and it's going to be stronger thunderstorms there at that. Now over Electra, again, there's another little what we call a bit of a splitting supercell here. You can see it's beginning to hook out some, and it's moving to the east here. And you got some heavy rain, again, some shower activity over the western parts of Wichita Falls, moving into Iowa Park. That storm is moving to the east-northeast. But the tendency for these storms, once they intensify a bit, they turn a little bit more to the east and then eventually to the southeast. And if that were to happen, then it could move over parts of Wichita Falls. We'll just have to see how everything is moving so erratically. You don't have a lot of organization to the upper level winds today. And if we take a look here at the wind patterns in these storms, I still see some decent spin in the thunderstorm complex. A couple areas I'm watching here. One is kind of east of Archer City, and that's kind of drifting to the southeast there. We'll watch and see what happens. You've got some other areas of some disorganized rotation north of there. You've got some disorganized little areas of spin southeast of Holiday here. Now, some of this may wind up being what we call downbursts, maybe some downward moving motions in the winds. It may not be true spins here. But this is such a large cluster of thunderstorms. It's going to wind up, I think, kind of altering the atmosphere here. The best rotation I see, which is broad, is again southeast of Archer City, and that's going to be some strong winds. But as this area of storminess continues to kind of organize, damaging winds are going to be a big concern, I think, over the eastern and southeastern parts of Archer County here. You also see some spin on the northeast side of the north shore there of Lake Kickapoo. Now, just looking at radar, this is not anything tornadic yet, but there are some areas of rotation in these thunderstorms here, and that's going to help increase the damaging wind threats, and also, you could get a spin up in this. The low-level wind shear just isn't very good today. You've got to have some stronger winds in the atmosphere to help produce that, and you really just don't see it. Matter of fact, the upper-level wind shear isn't that great either, but up there we call anvil layer, up there about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere, the winds are a bit stronger, and it's helping to give these updrafts a little bit of an organization. That's why you're seeing a couple little supercells here, but you're seeing erratic storm motions here. And in time, I do believe that that's going to wind up generating a pretty good area of strong wind gusts. Right now, the biggest hail I see on radar is there's some hail over Lake Kickapoo, and that's going to drift to the southeast and kind of head at Archer City. The biggest hail, though, is just north of FM 422. Just east of the the Baylor Archer County line there. And that's too is moving over Lake Kickapoo and going to move to the southeast there. We have some other showers that have, these showers are now extending down into southeastern and eastern parts of Clay County, some showers moving over Lake Arrowhead. And then here comes the thunderstorm is increasing now from Electra into Iowa Park, and this is going to throw what we call the forward flank of that, which is the front side of that thunderstorm is going to throw some decent rainfall over the at least western parts of Wichita Falls. Now, if this storm here slows up, continues to slow up, and we start seeing a little bit of a spin in it, and again, this doesn't mean tornado, but if it does, the updraft starts spinning a bit, let's say back in here, it could wind up causing the storm to move more east towards Wichita Falls. I would think, however, that this cluster of storms down to the south is just gobbling up a lot of the Cape values, instability values. And I would think that storm would have a tendency to weaken, but that hasn't happened yet. So, and then we'll watch these storms are now increasing back towards Ford County, eastern Ford, and that'll kind of drift over into southwestern Wilbarger and northwestern parts of Baylor County. We'll see warnings come out from that too here, and you can see other storms out towards Matador. So a lot of questions about will we have storms around. Will we have storms around for graduation tonight? Well, it's hard to say. I would think that the storms we're seeing now, since we're seeing them early, would gobble up the storm energy. The atmosphere should stabilize itself some. And I would think that the chances for storms during the 7 to 8 o'clock hours should begin to go down a bit. All right, give me a second. I got to go talk to my engineer. I'll be right back. All right, let's do an update. Also, do you know where Schumacher is by chance?
No, I've not seen him.
Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that. When you're behind the scenes and, it's just a two-man weather team right now, so I'm having to, Cameron is out and about in the tracker, and I'm having to do things here in the studio. So, but it looks like that storm has increased there, and from about Electra, heavy rain in Iowa Park now, right over the, what is that, the reservoir that's out there? I used to go fishing there all the time in Iowa Park. I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, so some pretty heavy rainfall over here into the Iowa Park area. We're spreading that now between Iowa Park and Electra. Could be a little hail there. Now this is going to be expanding north and eastward towards I-44 and Burt Burnett, and you see the storm obtaining a bit of a kink there, which would represent maybe a bit of a supercell structure. You've also got this other storm south of there, and then you got this big old cluster of storms down in Archer County. Look at all that hail. And there's flood warnings now up for Archer County from Dundee or right over to the east to Scotland and down into the Windthorst areas, because this storm is just moving so slowly and putting out a lot of rain. And that's in our watershed, so that's going to run off into the lakes, which is good. But look at that hail. Some big, big hailstones now showing up over here. Just tell me when you're ready. Showing up over here near Lake Kickapoo here. So, matter of fact, I can show you. This is a little feature that we do. We don't show it very often, but you can kind of see the storm here and how that hail core extends up into the storm. I'll tilt it a bit. Yeah, you can see that there. That's your hail, and it looks like that hail core goes up to about 25,000 feet. Then you can see these storm tops going up to about 30 to 50,000. That's a pretty strong. But you can see the updraft there in the thunderstorm. You can see it right there. See how you have this updraft there? That shows the hail there, and that's are they ready? All right, give me just a second. Let me delete this off so we can kind of look at more of an image people would be used to seeing. All right, I'm ready. About to do a cut-in, guys, so it may go black on social media. So. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. We are still tracking thunderstorms. We got quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings out there, and also flood warnings down into Archer County now. These storms just aren't moving a whole lot. If we take a look here, here's a storm with a severe thunderstorm warning from Electra through Iowa Park. It goes up to the southwest side of Burt Burnett. This storm is also kind of fanning out a bit and producing some heavy rainfall now, maybe on the extreme western side of Wichita Falls here. And maybe some small hail in that too, but your hail is and again, most of it is small. It's kind of north of 287 and kind of in between Iowa Park and Electra. This could build perhaps maybe up towards Burt Burnett here soon. So down in Burt Burnett, you keep an eye on that down to the southwest. The storm could be headed towards you. These are hail producers, and since they aren't moving very quickly, they're also producing a lot of heavy rainfall. You go down to southwestern parts of Wichita County, some heavy downpours and a little hail near Contain Corner. That storm is building east towards Holiday. And again, this activity is trying to build towards Wichita Falls, so there could be some heavy rain and some perhaps some small hail threats with some of that. The strongest storms on radar are down in Archer County here, and it's been raining heavily from just south of Archer City. Heavy rain overspreading 281 into Scotland, and some of these showers developing down towards Windthorst. Archer City, you're getting into the act, but some really large hailstones now falling on the west side of Lake Kickapoo. And some of that hail could be up to the size at least golf balls, if not larger. And that's going to kind of drift towards the south and southwestern parts of Archer County. Other thunderstorms with likely new severe thunderstorm warnings coming out pretty soon over in the Ford County. We might even see Wilbarger County get in on that. And we'll see additional storms develop for the remainder of the afternoon. Our concerns are going to be some heavy rainfall, flooding, maybe also some pretty large hailstones and some strong gusty wind. We'll be watching it right here throughout the afternoon, and we're also live over on Facebook and on the app. Yeah, tell them to keep me live on the app too, please. All right, so we are. I think we're back. Give it a second. We'll be back on in just a second, folks. We're still black on OBS, so there we go. We're back up. All right, there we go. Sorry, when we do the cut-in, that's just what happens, so it goes black sometime. So we continue with just severe thunderstorm warnings this afternoon, which is good news. Watching rotation, but the strongest rotation is actually anticyclonic. No immediate threat of tornadoes at this time. Starting to see very strong updrafts in Archer County up to 327 about 10 minutes ago. Hail to the size of tennis balls. So they are Weather Service is talking about these updrafts here, these hail cores you see really increasing towards Lake Kickapoo here. And they've increased the hail sizes on some of these storms here up to tennis ball size hail with some of this activity here. That is some really, really, really large hail falling. In fact, I can show you that with some of our other products we have here. Let me see if I can find some of them to show you. And sometimes it takes this activity a few minutes to update here, but we have quite a bit of hail down here, and give it a second to see if it'll show up. I don't know that it will. Yeah, there it is. So this was just showing where some of the larger hail may be, and this kind of takes away the rain and everything else, and kind of just shows you in general where you're seeing what. And in this purple area, most of your hail looks pretty small here. Okay, let me get rid of that. But when you get into these lighter purple, almost white colors, and on this particular instance in blacks, that's where it shows your larger hail. And this is going to be just southwest, and that shows baseball size hail just barely southwest of Lake Kickapoo. Thankfully, that's over mostly rural areas, but we do have people that live out here. And then you got some just south of Lake Kickapoo, tennis ball size hail here. So some pretty large hailstones just south of Lake Kickapoo this afternoon. And some of these storms are, again, producing and putting down some really big hail. And since they're not moving very fast, they are producing a lot of very heavy rainfall, and that is resulting in runoff and flooding down this way. Now, up to the north here in Wichita Falls, it looks like the heavy rain threats were increasing there towards Iowa Park. You got a lot of splitting taking place of these storms. Just so much going on because, again, you've got you don't have strong atmospheric wind shear today, and that causes these storms to do what we call split. So you've got a bit of a split taking place. You got this one right along 287. You got the northern part of this. It's going to move north of 287 and going to head right up here towards Burke Burnett. That's going to be a bit of a hail producer. Then you got this one down to the south that is going to kind of fan into western Wichita Falls here soon with heavy rain, and there may even be some increasing hail threats with that. Doesn't look like real large hail with it, but we'll keep an eye on that. It could grow some, but the bigger hailstorms are down there in Archer County. You've also got that hail-producing storm over there near Cadane Corner. And then we go back west, and hail sizes are beginning to increase for these storms back here in Hardeman County. So we do got Weatherman Cam out and about here, but he's not in a position to see anything yet. It may be kind of hard. Poor Cameron's had a hard time getting in position to see storms this year. It's just having to drive through these storms, and between that and road networks, it's been real difficult. And, but again, now it looks like the hail sizes are increasing here between Iowa Park and Wichita Falls along 287. This is going to be coming into Wichita Falls here shortly. So you might have a bit of an uptick in some of the hail sizes. There is the Wichita River. You can kind of see the green there. If you go over here into the city, this would be, let me see. I think there's a way we can do some street stuff too here. So give me a second here. Like I say, I'm playing around with stuff here. I was thinking that we might have a way to label streets. I thought we did. Maybe this is how you do it. Oh, this is my pointer here. So a lot of things on here, a lot of things that I'm playing around with. We have a lot of things we can do with our systems these days. So, but yeah, there's your hail core, and you can see it growing some. Like I say, it's right along the Wichita River, Pleasant Valley, City View area. That's what this would be kind of building into. And then if you go a little bit further down, there's Seymour Highway. The TV station is kind of located, so if we get any of that here at the TV station, we would hear it. But it's kind of located, kind of right over into this area. So kind of over in here. You got the Tanglewood and Canyon Trails over here. So, all this activity, it could be at least some small hail, and the hail sizes are trying to get a little bit larger. Let me look at the, I'm going to look at some radar tools here. Give me a second. I'm going to look at the VILs. This is called vertical integrated liquid. This is a pretty good way to be able to tell what the, well, I thought we had that in here. I guess we don't. I was trying to look at some products here, but I don't guess we got some of this stuff in here. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. So I'm taking that off, and I'm putting on what's called VIL, which is vertical integrated liquid. And the higher up in the atmosphere this goes, the more likely it is to be producing some pretty big hail. Because if it can go up higher, the higher it goes up, the colder the temperatures are and the stronger the updrafts are. And then that winds up meaning the chances for some bigger hail there. So if I take a look at that, That shows a VIL of 50, which I know that you don't understand what that is, but that is not just incredibly, from a meteorological standpoint, it's incredibly large, And then I'm looking at this one up there. Oh, that VIL have got right around 80 though, just northwest of Iowa Park. Buffalo Creek Reservoir is what I was thinking about. That's a pretty large VIL. So what happens is that is moisture. That's the ice chunks that are suspended aloft in the updraft. When the VIL drops, whenever it comes down, that tells me that the storm just dropped all of that. So it's got potential to drop some really big hail just north of Iowa Park. And if this continues on this route, it could wind up kind of heading into the Burke-Burnett area too with some decent hailstones. Seems like over the last couple of years when we get these really big hailstones, Burke-Burnett's the town that gets it. And you can see that hail is perhaps increasing there now as you start to see some of these blues and silvers between Electra and northwest of Iowa Park. Near and just northwest of Buffalo Creek Reservoir out there in Iowa Park. And that kind of drifts across a good part of this area up this way in Wichita County. Is kind of rural, but there's quite a few homes up here, ranch-style homes and just homes on farmland, agriculture, that kind of stuff up here. Hail threats are increasing some up in those areas. And that will likely move into the Burke-Burnett area here pretty soon. I can actually look at my Burke-Burnett tower cam here. And this will be looking to the northwest. And you can see the darkening skies there to the northwest. So that is from our Burke-Burnett tower cam. We're looking up Interstate 44 there. You're looking towards Burke-Burnett. And I'd have to move my tower cam around some, and I will. Give me just a second here. And we'll try to move my Burke-Burnett tower cam around so we can see it. But in the meantime, we'll go back to the radar here. But there's our warnings. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings. And I do expect more to come out here this afternoon. Severe thunderstorm warnings that continue. They go from, now I think the severe weather is now out of Electra. But Iowa Park, at least into Burke-Burnett here, large hailstones are possible, and that moves over to I-44. We've got a little bit of a supercell now that has now developed on the over Wichita Falls at this time. We got a supercell that has developed here. I'm trying to look and see if there's any spin. There's no spin in that at all. Now, if you're worried about tornadoes, we really don't see a lot of rotation. I continue though to see rotation. It's not anything significant, but I do continue to see some rotation there. That's drifting across the southern parts of Archer County, just north of Alney. There's some rotation there, nothing significant. And up into Wichita County, I don't see any spin right now. Most of this is just going to be some heavy downpours, maybe some gusty winds. And if you kind of look, there's some pretty strong winds where you see these lighter green colors kind of headed towards Burke-Burnett. But you definitely do see, again, another little bit of a supercell that's kind of developed over into Wichita Falls. So we may see a new warning come out for Wichita Falls. And that storm is going to wind up moving kind of east-southeast, and much of the city is going to see heavy rain and perhaps some hail with that perhaps soon here. So, Jacob, if you're up in the booth, let's plan a cut-in here pretty soon on News Channel 6, please. I don't know if he's up in the booth still or not. Yeah, I think he's. I think I still see him up there. But I do expect new warnings to come out here shortly for Wichita Falls. You can see that storm down in Archer County just is not moving much at all, and now it's kind of moving a bit almost east-southeast now. And again, it's moving towards Alney. So if you're in Alney, look north. That storm could drop in on you with some strong wind gusts, some hail, and heavy rainfall. And again, since it's not moving very fast, it could be some very heavy rain over Wichita Falls. And look at the hail really increasing in size now, just west-southwest of Burke-Burnett. Quite a bit of hail there at this point in time. That's some big hail. You can really see where it's increasing some. I'm going back to my Burke-Burnett tower cam here. All right, let me go see. I don't know that they got my request to do a cut in. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Hey, Jeff, up in the booth, let's do a cut in when we get a chance, please. Do a cut in when we get a chance. Remember, we're live right now. We're live on the app here, the News Channel 6 app, our website, newschannel6now.com, and also on Facebook Live this afternoon. So it is raining hard here at the station right now. It is it's coming down. It's pouring here at the station. There's our Burt Burnett tower cam, and hard to tell. That you could argue and say that little feature there would be a wall cloud, but and in this situation, since it's a hey Jeff, let's do a cut in when we get a chance to. I don't know if you've heard me or not, but we got some pretty good hail moving over Wichita Falls now. I need to be on with that if we can. But we do got some that looks to me like a bit of a wall cloud there on our Burt Burnett tower cam. Let's go back to radar and kind of take a look and see that's definitely a little bit of a wall cloud though. But yeah, these storms are just hail producers, and again, it's some small hail here falling at the station, but we're going to wind up seeing some of the hail here move over it's moving over the city now. This is again mostly pea-size hail, maybe a little bit larger, kind of up towards City View and along Interstate 44, but the hail is getting really big now, well north of Iowa Park now, and it's headed right at Burt Burnett here. Let's look at the velocities on the storms and see if anything has changed here with any of this stuff. Still just looks like some strong winds in this to me. I don't see anything in the way of of any type of circulation. There remains some circulation though down here in Archer County. Nothing major though, nothing that's torn at it, but there's definitely some circulation motions in the winds down there. So once again, this is our Burt Burnett tower cam here. And just go whenever y'all are ready. I mean, that's that little wall cloud we're seeing there. Okay. Little wall cloud there. It doesn't look like it's rotating or anything. You know, what a wall cloud is basically just your rotating updraft. All right, so that is that would be almost kind of on the wrong side. But when you have a left split, oftentimes your little wall cloud or whatnot would be on the north side of the storm there. But you can see the low hanging cloud there. Definitely a bit of a wall cloud. You know, I can't tell if it's spinning or not. There could be a little bit of spin in it, but not anything major. But there could definitely be a little bit of a spin there in that. And, you know, it's just hard to tell. The hail sizes may be increasing a bit here at the stations here some now. Most of we've seen is small, but this may be some decent sized hail. And since we had that big hailstorm back in what was it, April? I mean, every time we see hail, I start getting a little bit of a. All right, here we go. Cut in time. All right, well, hail is falling here at the station. So far, the hail has been fairly small. Sounds like mostly pea-sized hail, but it may be getting a little bit bigger here. And if we take a look, this storm is moving right over the city, right over the central and northern side of the city, basically along Kell Freeway, northward, right over 277, right along Interstate 44. It's going to be moving into downtown Wichita Falls soon. This hail is mostly going to be dime and maybe nickel size, but it could get a little bit larger. This is going to head to the east and move right over into the Shepherd Air Force Base. And once again, hail is our concern with the thunderstorm. Now, this is not quite the same size hail, not yet anyway, as what we saw back in April, but the hail is getting a little bit bigger, and there still could be at least a little bit of hail damage with this. And like I said, you can see with the radar how the hail sizes appear to be getting a little bit larger. This is what we call DBZs on radar. And DBZs, you associate that with audio, and that's what radar does. It goes on echoes and sounds, and whenever it hears a larger sound, it begins to paint these magenta and these silver-looking colors. So some pretty decent-sized hailstorms moving right along Seymour Highway, around the Tanglewood area, along Loop 11, Beverly Drive, and they're going to be crossing there up where, pretty close to where the Hershey High School, or Hershey Junior High, middle school, there, where Hershey High School used to be. And then it's going to move across there to the east, move right along Scott Avenue into the downtown area, Big Blue, those areas. And from there, it's going to head right towards the municipal airport in the southern side of Shepherd Air Force Base. Some hail sizes, mostly up to the size of dimes, but there could be some nickels and quarters mixed in that. Could be a little bit of damage. Now, we have been looking at some very large hailstones just north of Iowa Park there, across the northern parts of Wichita County. That is building into Burke Burnett. Hail sizes appear to have come down a little bit, but still could be some big hail with that as it makes its way to the east towards Burke Burnett. In fact, we've been tracking a little bit of what looks like well, I thought it was a wall cloud, but that may wind up just being a shelf cloud. Very difficult to say there from our Burke Burnett tower cam. I'm not a storm chaser or a spotter, but earlier I was looking at that thinking that was a wall cloud, but it's hard to say. That may wind up being a shelf cloud, but certainly is a pretty scary looking cloud. So into Burke Burnett, there could be some downpours and gusty winds and hail as that little feature there moves over you here shortly. Now down to the south, we're also seeing a lot of storm activity here. You got that one moving over Wichita Falls into the Burke Burnett area shortly. That'll move over into Clay County, the northern part of Clay County. So Dean and Jolly and heading up towards Charlie, Petrolia, those areas, heavy downpours. And you might see some of these storms cross the Red River. So maybe parts of Tillman and maybe even into parts of Cotton County, maybe Randolette, maybe Duval, and those areas could see some heavy rain and some hail threats there pretty soon. Down to the south, you're seeing another little area of storms coming out of Wilbarger County through Wichita County. Holiday, some more heavy rainfall. That's going to move into the western parts of Wichita Falls and heading towards Lakeside City and Lake Wichita here soon. So maybe some small hail with that. We go down to the south. The biggest storm on radar is this one down into Archer County. This thing has not been moving very fast. A lot of flooding, and it's producing a whole lot of hail. I've also been watching some periodic rotation in this storm down this way. Some very strong wind gusts in that, kind of dropping almost due south, southeast, southern parts of Archer, and kind of headed down into parts of Young County here soon. So Alney, you could get in on that. Very strong winds, and wouldn't rule out a brief spin up with that as well here. To the north, as far as winds go, some pretty strong winds, perhaps with some of these thunderstorms, but nothing that shows any signs of rotation. Our main threat this afternoon just going to be some heavy downpours and flooding, some gusty winds, and some hail. I'm thinking that these storms that are around right now may be strong enough to zap up a lot of the energy in the atmosphere, so hopefully this stuff will be out of here in time for graduation ceremonies this evening. Remember, we're live on the News Channel 6 app and the website, as well as social media, Facebook page right now, for anybody that wants to continue to follow these storms. All right, I'll let you guys know when I want to do another cut in. Thank you, I appreciate it. So, but let me know what you got going on at your house here this afternoon, and I'm see if Cameron is live yet here. Okay, he hasn't quite got it yet. I'm just communicating with Cam now. So let me know what kind of hail sizes that you have where you are this afternoon here. I'll read them here in a minute. I haven't really been looking at comments. I know I've had a ton of questions here, but I've just been trying to follow radar here. So, and I know we didn't have any audio for a minute there, but we've got it back. What happens is we're going to, when we go to a cut in, it briefly just kind of drops off here. So. So let me know, what have you guys got as far as, say, hailing hard in City View area? Talia, how big is the hail there, would you estimate there in City View? And if you guys get any pictures of the hail at your place, send them to me so I can show them. So. You know, you say that it's straight line winds down there, and I agree with you, but it's actually a strong, what we call RFD winds in the backside of that storm. And, probably, you're right, probably most of it is going to be some strong wind gusts, but it could still spin up. You still got a bit of an updraft in that area. You really don't have any way to make the storms rotate a whole lot. So the storm is having to basically produce its own spin there. Earlier, we had a lot of storm interactions that caused the storms to rotate a bit, but most of what you see now is the storm itself, trying to cause that. So it's going to be real difficult for anything tornadic to form from this here. So Gavin says marble size over by Lowe's here in Wichita Falls. No hail in Faith Village. Thank you, Alyssa. Nickel size hail in Burke Burnett. Let's look at I'm gonna look at the radar real fast. Looks like the hail sizes may have increased a bit right along Interstate 44 and kind of east of there now over into maybe the east side, northeast side of Wichita Falls, the east side there. So if we kind of zoom in here a bit, probably seeing some hail sizes that have increased towards Harding Street and the eastern part of Scott Avenue, and then kind of on the east side of downtown, and kind of going out to the east a little bit towards the Central Freeway. And then you go up to the north, and you see this would be where the downtown area is. There's where probably this is the Wichita River, and right in this area is where you have the Delta Hotel and the K. Yeager Coliseum. The Impact is kind of right in this area here, or maybe more kind of over in this area here. So you probably got a little hail, but remember this is probably a little bit delayed here. So your hail may be bigger over into here now towards River Road and Harding Street, and kind of moving into the maybe into the perhaps where the municipal airport is. Your biggest hail sizes may stay just south of there though, and maybe staying just barely a hair south of where the Lake Shepherd Air Force Base is. So let's hope that that's the case here. But I know that the meteorologists do a pretty good job out there at the Shepherd Air Force Base, and they probably got the planes into a good location. I'm gonna go back to my Burt Burnett tower cam, and you can see those downpours showing up. You can see the heavy rain on the right side there. Let me move the tower cam just a bit. But there's your heavy rain foot coming in. You call it a rain foot. See how it kind of notches out a bit? They call that a rain foot. And that just shows some strong gusty winds coming down out of the storm. It's kind of pushing the cloud a little bit out there at the Earth's surface. But that's what's moving into Burt Burnett, some heavy rainfall. It hasn't quite got there yet, at least from this vantage point. There's some raindrops on the tower cam here. Let's look to the south and see what it looks like there. Whenever I move this, there's a bit of a delay, so I don't want to hit it too much. But looking at the south, you can almost see there. Hard to say, that may be the south side of that thunderstorm. Sometimes when you see a little bit of a clearing in the middle of all that heavy rain, it'll wind up being some hail, but I think that's just kind of south of those storms. I think that may be in between storms. Yeah, you can see from that vantage point some storminess. There's just a lot of storms around. It's hard to really be able to track them and say exactly what's what, but there's a lot of storms around. And that's a pretty interesting looking cloud there, but it's hard to say if that would be a wall cloud or not. I don't think so, but it's probably just a part of just this thunderstorm in general. But it's not a bad looking little cloud there. I'm going to kind of see if we can look a little bit more south and southwest to see if there's anything else showing up. See if you can see the storms over Wichita Falls. You got a little bit of an east wind there from those flags blowing from east to west right over the interstate. And if you look, this would be kind of looking southeast towards Wichita Falls and maybe kind of just east of Wichita Falls. But there are that's probably some of those storms. But the storms are, we're looking through the rain. We're not looking at the structure of the storm, so it's hard to say what it is indeed there. So the better looking storm on our Burt Burnett tower cam is going to be this one over here. You can see more features with it. And we'll go back to radar here in just a second. Again, if everybody's worrying about tornadoes, the threat for that very low today. You don't really have enough what we call low-level wind shear to really generate the spin that's necessary for these storms to really rotate. The only chance they really had was storm interaction. Sometimes if storms interact with each other, sometimes they can cause the storms to kind of do some erratic things. And they kind of did that early on, but you're now seeing kind of one just big bunch of storms down here into Archer County. Those are it's kind of a bit of a right mover there. You can see a really nice hook on it just north of Alney, but you've kind of got it kind of back billed and kind of elongated out there across Archer County, and that's probably going to result in some flooding. But if we kind of look, and you definitely see some strong winds in this here. So I know somebody mentioned earlier that this straight line winds. Yeah, I mean, it could be. All right, so what you have in this instance, this storm is moving to the southeast here, okay? All right. So these storms are moving kind of south-southeast down into Young County. And you know, you've got your winds with the thunderstorm here blowing like this. This is your probably your rear flank downdraft. All right, I'm about to send Weatherman Cam a link so he can do jump on here with us here. Give me a second. I'm sending Weatherman Cam a link so he can join our Facebook Live here. Just give me just a second. I know I'm not talking, but give me a second. I'm trying to do something here. So, all right, I just sent it, Cameron. So if you, but anyway, if you kind of look at that, you do got some spin in it. Not anything major, but you definitely do got a little rotation there and some strong winds there, kind of right there along the Young and Archer County line. You probably also have a little bit of some spin back in here too, just kind of on the back end of that. But you know, again, that's a big thunderstorm. And if we kind of look at I wonder what the echo tops are looking like in this storm here. Echo tops just show the highest area in which that the radar is getting echoes. So the higher up that goes, the bigger the storm is, the stronger it is, the stronger the updraft is in it. So if I take a look here at this is going to tell me that your tops in this storm, this is your updraft's up close to 60,000 feet. Now, that's not the highest I've ever seen here. And the highest I've ever seen is like 70 and 80,000, but that is still way up there. So that tells me that these storms, you know, have really strong updrafts here this afternoon. They're feeding on all this instability that we have in place. Instability is basically just energy. And that's allowing these storms to really grow strong. And there's just enough winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere to cause these things to spin a little bit. But they're, you know, don't seem to be anything major, honestly. So I am going to see here. I'm going to see if I can do this real fast here. Not sure this is going to work. All right, yeah, there it is. So, all right. Cam, I got to put my earpiece in so I can hear you. All right. Let's see if Cameron's joined us yet or not. Cameron has not yet joined us yet, so we're going to stay on. Whenever he does, we will jump on. But you can see Cameron's feed over here to the left. This is the tracker feed, and he's driving south along 281. I'll take him whenever we can here in a minute. So Cameron's headed south. He's kind of headed down into Archer County after these storms here. You know, I would think that Cameron's going to try to maneuver his way south of this big supercell here. Boy, you know, and like I say, this week, this year, storm chasing has just been hard here, because we haven't had our, you know, our traditional just supercells like in other parts of the country they've seen this year. You know, mostly what we've seen are a lot of these storms that are what we call high precipitation. Everything is wrapped up in rain, and it's just real difficult to be able to see, you know, exactly what's going on with them. And he's had to really maneuver himself through some hard road networks and a lot of trees and cell phone service areas. So it's been tough for sure. So remember, send me your pictures if you got any, so I can make sure to show them here on while I'm doing this. You know, we're not done with the storms either. These storms. So the question remains: will these storms be out of here before graduation hits tonight? I would think so. I would think that all these storms here gobbling up the atmospheric energy. Let's see if the All right, here's Weatherman Cam here.
Why can't I hear you? I know.
And here in Wichita Falls, something I learned here a while back is the fact that these storms are these storms it has to be something like on the ground before they'll sound them here. But if you in your area, they can sound them for any different reason. Doesn't mean there's a tornado, but that's a strong thunderstorm. It's a dangerous thunderstorm. And I'm going to try to pull in now. Let me see if I can pull in Weatherman Cam.
I can't. I'm having audio issues. If you have an audio on, I have audio issues. Easy is it crazy? Audio issue. I do not know why I cannot hear you. It's not. It's not on your. I don't think it's on your end. It's on my end. So bear with me. I'm trying to figure this out while doing everything else. Gosh dang it. Oh!
Cameron,
I
can
think I
you
can
hear
hear
me
you.
right now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Well, you're hearing me through OBS, and I can't really. You must be on. Are you on Unity right now?
No, I'm not on Unity. I'm on just on Restream with you.
Okay. Well, let's try this again because you're.
No, I need AC. It's
Can you hear me, Cameron? Can you hear me now?
Yes, that is much better. Oh my gosh, that is much better.
All right. All right. Perfect. So I got the radar up here in one corner, and I've got you on another corner here, and then I got me in the bottom here. So we can make this work now. So.
Oh, we have multiple camera angles.
Yeah, we do here. So tell me, see, I got somebody that's pulled over on 79, looking and taking pictures, photos of wall cloud. I started driving towards Alney, and the wind wrapped around us. Where are you at right now? The tornado sirens are going off in Alney. I know that there's no tornado warning there, but that storm, that's dropping south. That thing's got it's a pretty beastly storm, Cameron. So where are you at right now?
I'm a good bit south of Windthorst. I'm on 81, so I've just been riding. I'm about 10 miles south of Windthorst, and I'm just going southeast. What I'm doing, I'm just kind of put myself in a kind of like a what you call it, intercepting position to get to the further south. I'm almost going to have to go into Young County to get in a position I'd like to be on this thing. I was going to go for Olney initially, but Olney's already kind of getting in it, so I'm staying on 81, and this thing will come right at me on off from the south or my northwest. So. Like I said, gosh, I hate this, but I'm going to have to get into Young County, and you know how much I love chasing Young County.
I can almost. I've got your feed pulled up here. This is from the tracker itself here, and I can. Looks like you got. Looks like I see inflow, perhaps maybe an inflow band into the thunderstorm, and maybe I can't tell if that's a shelf or a wall cloud. Maybe the mesocyclone there, but I could definitely see
I think
inflow into the thunderstorm.
I think that's your meso, and yeah, I did notice actually there is good inflow. There's actually pretty good inflow. A lot of inflow bands out here, and I mean down here, like I said, I'm in southeastern Clay County, and it's the air down here is pretty soupy. So I mean, it's got decent air, but it's just not gonna have anything to work with when it comes to the wind at the surface.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me pull radar back up here, Cameron. I'm gonna keep your feed up there, and I'll come back to you periodically. Okay. So I got Cameron's feed up there, and he's gonna stay on here with us, and he'll just be into the stream there on the right. That's Weatherman Cam, and that way we can take him whenever we need to. But if you look at the radar here, so we got Hale and Burt Burnett here at this time. So that's going to be what we call your left split thunderstorm. That's your left split. And the left split is, kind of off those storms to the south. It's moving more northeast. Everything else is moving kind of southeast, but that's moving kind of northeast there. Little hail falling into Burt Burnett right now. Most of it looks fairly small. Earlier had some big hailstones with this, but most of it looks small now. Heavy rain also moving into those areas, moving right along I-44. The hail threats have now shifted east of Wichita Falls. Have actually decreased in size over here into Clay County, so Dean, Jolly, those areas. But there's another little hailstorm that's developed on the backside of all this activity, and that's going to move over Lakeside City and the west-southwest part of Wichita Falls, and some more heavy rainfall from Holiday into Lakeside City there. And then you go back upwind. There's some other storms that have developed over here in the Young County here. So pretty stormy here late this afternoon. I don't see it letting up. But I'm hoping this stuff will shift out of here before graduation tonight. I don't know if there's any word on if there's anything changes to that here, but I'm thinking it should be
It's
better.
indoors.
We should see improvements by then here. So if we look at the big storm down to the south, it's got the warning now for Young County. This is the strongest storm on radar, and it has had this tornado sirens going off, but it's just a severe thunderstorm warning. No tornado warning there. So. And there's a couple of areas of weak rotation on both sides of Albany at this time here, but nothing that's major. You've got a little rotation. Actually, you can almost see a bit of an outflow. Let me go back to Cameron here. So Cameron, I'm back with you here now.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
All right, so there's a couple areas of rotation. I know the sirens are going off in Albany, but there's a few little areas of rotation in Albany. I actually see an outflow boundary that the storm is produced, and it may be ingesting that outflow boundary a little bit. And there appears to be a little rotation just east of Albany a little bit here, and pretty far north of Graham, but probably just to your west a little bit.
Heard? Okay, cool. Also, I heard you talk about that. I just want to let you know they did move Wichita Falls graduations indoors tonight, just so you know.
They did move it indoors. Okay, good.
Yeah.
But I've got your feed up here, Cameron, and you can definitely see. I can see the rotation into thunderstorm. I can see the inflow notch there to your west with that storm in northern Young County and southern Archer County. I can see the inflow. That's going to be upper level stuff, though. That's not necessarily stuff at the Earth's surface. But the only thing you worry about a little bit, that outflow boundary that's produced, if it does ingest that, then that kind of allows it to spin a little bit.
Right.
I don't think that it's going to produce a tornado, but it probably does have some pretty intense storm structure with it.
Right. Honestly, I'm hoping to get on position that thing like the next 10 minutes or so to get a really good shot on it.
Yeah, it's you of course you're in like you have been most of these years. It seems like you're in a lot of trees right now, so we really can't see that well.
Yep, that's all we do. We just chase the trees here. I thought I came to Texas to chase
There's
the
a
planes,
good
but
There's a great shot. You can see the mesocyclone, and it looks like some low-hanging stuff off of it. I can't tell if that's a wall cloud or not, but it certainly is. Certainly, you can definitely see the mesocyclone with it there. And folks wonder what a mesocyclone is. Just the rotating part of the rotating updraft is what it is.
But no, what I'm doing, I have 4 miles to go on 81 south, and then I'm gonna take a right turn. I'll cut back further east and closer towards the storm, and then be much closer to it. So.
Okay, yeah, but I'm trying. I just went full screen with it here, and
yeah, we're kind of working the hills and such right now, hills and trees.
Yeah, but occasionally you get into an opening, and that's a beautiful storm for sure. Beautiful storm. So, we talked about these yesterday, Cameron, how we thought we'd see some of these hail producing storms. That's mostly what we've seen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the people are, again, tornado sirens going off in Albany. I'm trying to assure everybody that we do not have a tornado warning for Albany. There is no tornado warning for Albany. And again, the different types of um, uh, cities and towns have different criteria for why they sound the sirens, and it's not always for tornado. They could sound them for strong winds. They could sound them for a little
Probably for the hail.
circulation. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could. I mean, they just have different criteria. So they're
Because
sounding
a
this.
lot of times, Ken, a lot of times, like if you get a severe thunderstorm warning, obviously, like you just said, it's county based. But if you get like a destructive tag on a severe thunderstorm, some counties will pull the sirens on those.
Yeah, I don't really see that. I don't see a destructive tag on that. So I'm not sure why. And again, we don't sound, we don't make the decisions to sound the sirens, and we certainly don't issue warnings and that kind of stuff. That is 100% for the weather service. We just tell people what we see on radar and what we see, that potentially could be, headed your way and that kind of stuff here. So, the radar does show. I do see some circulation there in the storm. It doesn't look tornadic to me, but there is a little rotation that's kind of showing up, between Alney and Graham, and it could just be some strong wind gusts there coming out of it. It's hard to say. I don't see a definite tornadic signature, but there's definitely a little bit of a circulation there. So, but we'll keep an eye on that for sure. And like I say, Cameron's on his way down there. But that storm, if we get into Young County, that storm is moving kind of southeast. So the little rotation that we've seen is well southeast of Alney now, and it's kind of drifting into the community of Jean. And then from there, it kind of drifts southeast towards maybe Lake Graham and Graham. It probably wouldn't get there though until after 5 o'clock, maybe 5:15, 5:30. And your main threat, from German, Antelope, maybe Graham, kind of over into this area is mostly still large hail. And maybe some strong wind gusts kind of down in here. Of course, we do got a little bit of rotation, but nothing major here. Up to the north, we've had the hail sizes are increasing a bit now as the storm is crossing. This is the left mover. It's crossing the Red River into Oklahoma with severe thunderstorm warnings now for extreme southeastern part to Tillman into Cotton County. The storm is producing some hail there just southeast of Granfield, headed over Duval and Randolette. This is going to make its way up towards Temple and Walters. Large hail, the main concern with that storm. I can look at my my Burke-Burnett tower cam, and looks like some pretty good rain. This is along the interstate. Actually, the little tower cam is on a billboard area just south of town. And if you, you probably, folks in the area probably recognize where this is, but there's the dark skies with the thunderstorm there as we see it moving, kind of north of Burke-Burnett with the hail. There have been some reports of hail there in Burke-Burnett, but most of what we've seen have just been mostly kind of on the smaller hail spectrum up that way. But there could be some bigger hail moving into Oklahoma now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some new severe thunderstorm warnings come out. These storms are really, really training. There could be some pretty good flooding situations across Archer, southern Wichita, and into maybe even parts of Baylor County with these storms training over each other. Hail is our main concern right now. And if we look here, it's a little hail, small hail there in Clay County. A little shower activity in Henrietta, but it looks like you got some more, mostly small hail from about Cadane Corner through Holiday. Some more showers moving into Lakeside City over Lake Wichita, the southwest side of Wichita Falls. You might see the hail sizes pick up some in Holiday shortly. You've seen a lot of storminess in that area. And all this stuff is drifting to the southeast. I do expect perhaps maybe a little bit of an uptick in some of these storms, maybe over in Clay County and Jack County. And you're definitely seeing them west of there across Wilbarger and Baylor and Ford County, those areas there. But your biggest storm on radar remains this one down here in Young County and southern Archer County. These storms are producing and putting down some pretty big hailstorms, especially we see that little silverish blue color there. That is some pretty strong hail signatures. And again, you do see some spin in the storm. I'm just trying to take a look at some different angles at it. So if you look here, this is a little outflow boundary. When an outflow boundary is, it's just some rain-cooled air it's produced by the thunderstorm. You can kind of see it right in there. The storm is kind of riding along the very, very tip of that outflow boundary. So, if the storm is strong enough, the updraft can ingest that, and sometimes it can kind of alter the storm and alter the atmosphere some, and it could allow the storm to spin something up. Right now, I don't really see that. It really looks like more of a, again, more of a gusty wind situation. You do see the updraft rotation, but there is a little bit of spin. It's been persistent too, but nothing that has touched down. But you can see a little bit of spin there, just southeast of Alney. And there is Cam's tracker feed. I'm gonna go back to Cameron and. Cameron, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
So is that a wall cloud there, or is that a shelf cloud?
Yeah, I'm trying to simulate. It doesn't. It's okay. I can tell you this right now. It's definitely not a shelf cloud. It does not look like a shelf cloud. I've seen inflow going into it, so we know it's not a shelf cloud. I just can't disseminate enough if that's going to be I don't know if that's a wall cloud. If that's just a low hanging mesocyclone. It looks like it might be a really high base wall cloud, to be honest.
Could be. It's hard to say, but how far away is that from you?
I mean, it's fairly a decent bit. I mean, the thing is you're looking. I'm on the eastern edge of the storm right now. I mean, that's probably. Let me match up with my velocities here. Oh man, we're on the edge of the radar site, aren't we? Yes, we are. Hang on.
Yeah, that's when you start getting down in that area, you get into the edge there. That's you see it's really just a little bit too far away from all the radars to really get a good look at it.
In terms of what would be any type of like rotation, that's honestly about 20 miles off to my west right now. But I mean, I can't tell if that's meso or if that's wall. I want to say it's meso.
It's hard to say.
Maybe, I don't know.
It could be a shelf cloud too, but it's hard to say. To me, it just kind of looks like a wall cloud, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna pull over for a second and stop so you can see it. So if you look, obviously, you're looking on pull the tracker feed full screen if you can, Ken.
All right, give me a second. Let me. All right, there it is.
So if you look, so you can see the indentation there on the cloud right there, but almost in the middle of it, it's hard. You can't see it as well on camera, but there's a little bit more of a lowering in the middle of it, which might be the wall cloud. Yeah, I can't tell. Because it's it looks like wall cloud shape. It's got the tilt to it. It's I've seen it pull an inflow. It's still pulling an inflow, and it does have some lowering outside of that structure itself. Not much, but a little bit. It could just also be some scud hanging around right now. I think it's just some kind of like on the eastern side of the storm right now. So that's looking off to the west right now. But I really can't disseminate.
Is there any way you can zoom the camera in? I know that driving and doing it at the same time is kind of difficult, but if you could stop for a second and zoom it in, that'd be great. We might can see better.
Yeah, give me a second. Sorry, grass.
So my viewers watching here on social media here, this would be your inflow into the storm up here. Well, I was trying to draw. I don't guess it lets me draw on here. There's weatherman Cam. They're getting out. And you can almost see a bit of a lowering there, right in the kind of on the right hand side of it there a little bit. And for those people wanting to know where he's at, this is in northern Young County. South of Alney, southeast of Alney, and kind of northeast of Graham. So just looking at that, Cameron, I believe that's a wall cloud. Just by looking at it, you can almost see a little bit of rotation in it. That looks like a bit of a wall cloud, but it's hard to say for sure. But just by looking at it from this vantage point, it looks like a wall to me.
Yeah, I mean, structure-wise, it does look to match up with the the look of a wall cloud. And obviously, you kind of have the rain curtain off to the east of it, or I guess that would be the north of it. But I mean, you can see on the far edge right there what I've been watching is that area there. That's inflow. It's been pulling an inflow. It's not been rapid inflow, but it's been constantly pulling an inflow. So I mean, it doesn't look like it's spinning much, but again, still a good bit away from the storm. But I mean, you got a good visual of it right now. You do have, I can't disseminate if that's scud or if that's lowering coming out of the wall cloud itself down there. It looks like it's just scud, I believe.
What Weather Service office says? Is that Fort Worth?
Yeah, that's gonna be Fort Worth.
Fort Worth they don't communicate nearly as well as Norman does.
No, they do not. I mean, this thing's kind of, I mean, this thing's stationary just about.
Yeah, it's not moving fast at all, Cameron. It isn't. So, but that's a pretty cool little wall cloud there. All right, well, go ahead and continue getting position. I'm gonna go back to radar here. I'm about to have to jump off. I got some things I've got to do. I got to get dressed. So for the newscast. So, but you can definitely see the rotation there in it for sure. And it's just kind of erratic. And there's an outflow boundary, and I'm not sure if the outflow boundary, if it's north of that outflow boundary, or if it's ingesting the outflow boundary. It could be on the edge of it. I really, really have a hard time telling exactly, what's going on with it. Because a lot of times outflow boundaries they're gonna help kill they're gonna undercut the updraft, and it's no longer gonna get warm, juicy air flowing into it. It's gonna be all this, it's gonna be all rain cooled air. But there's your outflow boundary. It looks like to me, and it's hard to say, kind of in here. But your updraft could be ingesting it here too. So hard to say. A lot going on there. Very, very difficult to say. Back up to the north, though, a lot of heavy rain continues there. Young County, from southern parts of Wilbarger County. It is, and we could be getting into a flood situation here with all this heavy rain just training. These storms are just not moving quickly, and they're training over the same areas. You can see quite a few outflow boundaries getting generated by this big storm complex that kind of goes from here all the way up into here. So these storms continue, and these are producing some really heavy downpours here. That's a pretty intense supercell now on the north side of Burt Burnett, kind of in southern Oklahoma, and some other storms developing over this way. But with all this activity moving over the same spots, there could be some significant flooding that could try to take place in this area here, just southwest of Wichita Falls. From about Holiday, maybe Lakeside City, or on the west side of Lakeside City, up towards KMA, and across a good part of Archer County, especially Lake Kickapoo area, back towards Lake Kemp, southern Wilbarger County. That's a pretty decent storm developing now south of Vernon here. And we put the wind velocities on there, and no rotation with those storms there. But again, you do got that rotating thunderstorm down to the south there. I don't know if that's a little bit elevated or not. It could be. I think it's riding the very far eastern edge of that outflow boundary, and you've got other little spin areas up to the north of that too. So it's probably producing some strong winds, well southeast of Albany now. But there's strong wind gusts about to move right over Lake Graham, and kind of Graham, and Graham and those places over to the east. Just keep an eye on that one there. Pretty strong winds, followed by some, looks like some pretty good hail coming in on the backside of that here. So. Up into Oklahoma, some big hailstones now falling over southern Oklahoma there. Randolette, east of Granfield, over Cotton County, Duval, seeing it headed towards Cookietown, right up Interstate 44. This is going to move into Walter. Some of this hail could reach up the size of golf balls, baseballs, perhaps even. And more heavy rain, periodic small hail from about southwest Wichita Falls through Lakeside City, Holiday, Cadane Corner. That also extends back to the west into parts of Wilbarger County, south of Vernon, into Ford County, northern Baylor County, more into northern and central Archer County, Lake Kickapoo. Now, and I do expect this activity to perhaps spread down into southern parts of Clay and into parts of Jack County and more of Young County here. So, and there's a lot of storms off to the west here, but I would think that these storms over this way here, that they may kind of bunch up, and they may impact some of our areas down this way. But I would think they would weaken as they get over into here because of all the storms that are in the area today here. Again, there's Cameron's feed. So, Cameron, are you how far are you away from Graham now?
If I'm actually using the GPS, actually go to Graham, I'm 25 minutes away from Graham, but I'm not going directly into Graham quite yet. I have a longer route to Graham, but it keeps me on the roads to keep me in line with the storm. So now I just turned due east. So we'll switch cameras here really quick here, but now we're gonna go drive right at it now. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a good view of. You got a great view of that storm. For sure.
I do want to add though, I'm looking at it from afar. It does look like it's a bit higher base though. This isn't it's got a wall cloud, but it's not super low hanging.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks like that, but it's got some structure. Hey, it's probably better than those storms you saw on Monday, right?
Yeah, more like the lack of storms I saw on Monday, because I saw them, but they didn't do much. I mean, they weren't very eye appealing, if that makes sense. I mean, obviously you don't wish for tornadoes, but there's nothing to really see on them.
When you storm chase, of course, as a storm chaser, your primary objective is to track storms and report what you're seeing here to help the Weather Service and help the public, be prepared for these types of things. But, when you're storm chasing, one of the main things you like to look at is just cloud formations. They can be really pretty and show off some really beautiful, spectacular things. And then sometimes, you can see things that would be more tornadic than others. And we knew today probably wasn't going to be much of a tornado day. So,
Okay.
yep, that's true. That's true. So, all right. Well, I'm going to keep on watching that camera. I've got to get dressed and ready for the newscast here. But I'll definitely take you during the 5 and then 5 and the 6 o'clock probably. Of course, at some point I got to bring you back in. But you're on the best sell of the day, that's for sure.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep an eye on that. So I am going to jump off. Let me before I jump off, I'm going to do a little bit more of quicker radar analysis here before I jump off. Like I said, I had to get dressed and get ready for the newscast here, but a lot of storminess going on this afternoon and this evening. Flooding is going to be our main concern. That is a pretty big hail produce. It's almost these are interesting. This is what we call a left split. And when you see a left split supercell, they do some weird things. This is like a backward supercell. When we talk about supercells, we talk about hook echoes. Well, usually the hook echo would be down here. But in this instance, since it's a left split, your hook echo oftentimes is on the northern side. There's your updraft. There's your big hail. And a lot of times you get what's called anticyclonic rotation with these, but I don't really see any rotation at all.
No turn on.
Maybe just a little bit of a hair there, but probably not much of anything there, just north of Burke there on that storm. It's mostly a hail producer as it makes its way to the north. But some big hail is possible in that thunderstorm there, moving into southern parts of Oklahoma there. Down to the south, a lot of heavy rainfall continues with flooding threats there. Cadane Corner, Holiday, some small hail, heavy rain over Lake Wichita, Lakeside City. But Wichita Falls itself is kind of sandwiched between the storms that went through earlier and the storms off to the west there. We could see some more activity with some downpours and some hail try to move over the city here in the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. And then you jump down into Archer County. Just a lot of the heavy rain continues across central and northern Archer County.
Going
about Lake Kickapoo to the west, and new storm development there into Wilbarger County. That's pretty strong thunderstorm there, increasing hail sizes there just south of Vernon, kind of down towards the Lockett area, just south of Lockett. And there, too, you get a little bit of some weak rotation in that storm there, but nothing major. Then we jump down to the south, and that's your best rotation on any storm we see is still kind of north of Graham. That may wind up being just a hair bit elevated because it might be just north of that outflow boundary. Hard to say, but it's definitely possible that it's north of that outflow boundary. But there is a little consistent rotation just north of Graham, just a hair north there. With that storm, and then there's our tracker. Cameron is on it. He's moving due east. Cameron, you got a pretty good view of that storm now. You're moving due east right at that slow moving storm.
Yeah, actually pull my reach actually, yeah, you're looking at my dash speed right now. But I mean, yeah, it's got it's pulling in more inflow now, it looks like. So it's pulling in some better air right now. I don't know if it's trying to maybe further organize this wall cloud further than what it's already got going on, but I mean, it looks like it might be organizing just a little bit further than what it already is. But what I'm doing now, I'm on 114. I got 2 more miles, and I'm gonna start dropping south. And then again, I'm literally gonna ride right with this thing. So we're gonna have a really great shot for this.
So I do got your Facebook Live feed up there now, and that is a pretty cool looking storm there for sure.
Yeah, you can see it there. But then once you get to these trees on the left side, you can see some more inflow flowing into this thing right now. So I don't know if it's trying to maybe further to organize that wall cut. It's definitely gotten lower than what it was when you took the tracker feed, but it's definitely starting to organize a little bit further right now. So I mean,
that's a good wall cloud. That is definitely a low hanging wall cloud for sure.
You might even have some real flame downdraft to catch this right now, Ken.
Yeah, you can see it. That storm, I think that it's chewing. It's ingesting in that outflow boundary. It's what it's doing, and that is definitely a nice little wall cloud there. On the left side there.
Yep.
A lot of reports of hail in City View. And somebody wants to know what keeps making the storm split. And what makes the storm split is when you don't have strong low-level wind shear. They try to start spinning, and they just wind up spinning storms in different directions. They kind of split. So I've got your feed up there. I got your that's your I guess that's your phone, and I go back and forth between that and the tracker, and both look real impressive though.
Yep.
But I think the tracker feed is, it's kind of a little darker, a little more ominous. That is a really nice looking. It's starting to get rain on it, lens caps. It's hard to see that, but that is a really nice looking wall cloud, man.
Yeah, so I'm taking my southward turn now, so we're gonna have to bounce over to the other camera here. Just a second.
Well, I got your live camera up there right now, so because the camera's getting, like I said, getting water all over it, so it's kind of hard to see. Right. Now your camera's focused. Now I've got your the tracker feed back up again.
Yeah, I'm making my southward turn right now. So you'll have shot coming up in just a second from the tracker. Ooh.
What do you see there, buddy?
I mean, still what I just, similar to what I just saw a few minutes ago. Once I get through these trees just a little bit, I mean, it kind of looks like a disorganized mess, to be honest. I still got a wall cloud, but it's just a big disorganized mess right now, to be honest. I mean, it's got inflow, but it's really not organizing itself anymore.
It looked really good it looked really good a minute ago when you were up there next to it.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of moving south. So kind of what I'm doing now is I'm moving parallel with it a little bit, but kind of getting myself out ahead of this thing now. So I've got 10 miles on this road, and then I'm basically in Graham at that point. But I mean, this thing is moving southeast, and I'm coming out of the north right now.
That's a good view of it right there. That's beautiful, perfect view there.
Yep.
Can you tell if it's rotating or not?
Let's see here.
That's a great shot.
It doesn't look like much rotation on it, to be honest. I don't really see much spin to it.
Yeah, that's a good.
Nah, it doesn't look like much rotation on this right now.
It's a good shot, though, for sure. And again, for our folks watching, that's there in Young County, just north of Graham. So, all right. Well, you keep on chasing, Cam. I have got to go get dressed for the newscast here. So I'm going to jump off this Facebook Live, and we'll be on News Channel 6 here in a few minutes, okay? And I'll take you live during that. All right, Cam?
Okay.
All right, man. Bye.